Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. And this watch is a landmark piece for Omega, probably the industry as well, heralding the arrival of the truly anti-magnetic watch. This is the 2013 Omega Seamaster Aqua Terra 15,000 Gauss, a minimum rather than a maximum. It's equivalent to 1.5 Tesla and represents something approaching infinite anti-magnetic capability. The watch in steel is 41.5 millimeters in diameter, 13.3 millimeters thick, 48.4 from lug to lug, and if we measure end link to end link, it's 50 millimeters across the wrist with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Now, it's true, if you were to bring this near an MRI, you would get stuck to the MRI because it is made of steel. However, the movement might be largely unaffected. You can see on my wrist, though, it's all about fit. Fit and feel come first before aesthetics, and the watch does look and feel secure. It's flatter than I would say probably most modern Omega coaxials at only 13.3, and then across the wrist, I could recommend this for a wrist as small as 15 centimeters. Once more, my wrist is 16. The bracelet is a standard Aqua Terra piece. You can see a combination of satin polish, conforming end link, polished outer faces, removable links fixed by screws, intermediate size link in case you're in between sizes. There's another one on the other side to help you with sizing. Double fold clasp. You can see it's a double fold with sequential close, one side before the other. When it closes, you see the Omega logo. Twin trigger release, you have to press both of them to pop it open, very secure. Screw down crown, 150 meters, water resistant, lyre style lugs with inward and outward bevels. Very emblematic of Omega Seamaster and Speedmaster cases since the early 60s. Polish and satin, conical bezel, and of course a crown with a combination of polish and media blast. The crown is also somewhat countersunk into the case flank so it doesn't protrude obtrusively. The dial features a sort of teak deck concept, as Omega described it, with these striations resembling, well, perhaps the teak deck of a yacht. We have polished and satinated faceted applique indices, as well as applique satin Omega logo and marquee, and a lovely bumblebee color scheme to remind us that this is all about resistance to magnetism and electromagnetism. And so we have this awesome color scheme with a seconds hand that is a bit of an icon for Omega fans. They immediately know what watch it is, even covering everything else. We'll do a loom shot so you can see the watch in the dark, and it's quite well loomed. I appreciate that all three hands are loomed so you can see in the dark that it is running. And then we have a couple of subsidiary setting modes, the first of which is a time zone function, so you can move that hour hand independently and drive the date forward or backwards depending on whether you're traveling east or west across the international date line. Now pull it out all the way, you activate stop seconds. Twin barrels in series, 60 hours of power reserve, bidirectional automatic winding. It's got a quirky beat rate of 25,200 vibrations per hour, which is sort of a rate specific to Omega and Swatch Group silicone hairsprings, which this definitely has. Flipping over here, you can see that we've got the caliber 8508 based on the 8500. You can see this one leaves no doubt that it is the highly anti-magnetic model. 39 joules, automatic winding, arabesque Côte de Genève across the bridges and the rotor with engine turning on the base plate, a machined bevel, and blackened and polished screws. We have a full balance bridge and a free sprung balance for shock resistance. And then we've actually got anti-magnetic balance staff pivots, escape wheel pivots, anchor pivots, and then we have the silicon SI14 anti-magnetic hairspring, and then we have anti-magnetic metal used for the balance wheel, the escape wheel, and the anchor itself. We also have the tri-level coaxial, where one level is part of the gear train, and then the two levels above that act to impulse the balance directly and indirectly, but the hallmark of the coaxial, as envisioned by George Daniels and implemented by Omega, is that it uses tangential friction rather than sliding friction. Sliding is a Swiss lever, a standard escapement. That is more friction than tangential friction, which is what this has, improving power reserve, reducing maintenance requirements, and improving chronometry. And to that end, this is a COSC certified Swiss chronometer movement, tested in 5 positions, to hot, cold, and isochronism over 2 weeks. It's a very elite distinction. We sometimes take it for granted because there are many chronometers at the high end of the market, but only a small percentage of Swiss watches and all watches globally are actually certified as chronometers. So it's still a big deal, especially if you've realized how many bad mechanical watches there are out there. Something like this truly is the Lamborghini. So If you want a landmark piece that's as durable today as it was then, shock-resistant, water-resistant, and highly anti-magnetic, reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.